Hey, friends. Uh, I am back from Colorado. So I missed you guys last week, but everything is really divine. And so while I was out in Colorado, I spent one day going and sightseeing at Colorado National Monument. And then I spent another day, I drove over to Moab, and I went to Arches National Park, and it was full, so I couldn't get in. So I was driving along the Colorado River, taking up some time and stopping to take photographs. And if you'll remember, when we started this month of Zeal, I told you about the monarch butterflies and the butterflies and their flight to migrate. It's the only butterfly that migrates in two directions. And so while I was standing on the banks of the Colorado, I had two different monarchs fly by me. So I was reminded of our zeal, even though I was on the other side of the country. And that's not completely on the other side, I guess about halfway. It's a long way away. But I'm a little bit dry, so I hope I don't drink all my water. But I'm still getting used to the humidity here. I was out in Colorado joining Teresa. Most of you know Teresa Penbrook. They were doing a conference, and so I was helping support the conference, do some online streaming, the same way we do this hybrid experience here. And it was exciting, but I'm so thrilled to be back to talk more about zeal and to come back with my community. And I got to join Billy and so many of you yesterday on the beach when we had a drum circle, and the drum circle ended, and I was lifting drums over the railing to make it easier to get them to the cars, and I got visited by two monarch butterflies again. And I just love how this world is so magical in so many ways. So we're talking about zeal. And zeal's the color of orange. Orange is my favorite color. That's why I have that big, beautiful car, and everybody knows where I am in town because you don't really see that color often. And I know that last week, Reverend Catherine did a wonderful job talking to us about our zeal and how we have to partner our zeal with our wisdom so that we show up with enthusiasm, with a passion, without becoming a zealot, right? And just deciding that we get to tell other people how they need to show up in the world. And we know that zeal also ties with our faith, but because we know that Simon was renamed Peter, and then we have Simon the Canaanite who represents zeal. We had Simon who becomes Peter, who is faith, and then Yvonne sends me she tagged me in a post on Facebook. If you haven't seen it, it's hilarious. It's Peter the fisherman is picking up his business cards. And then it says later that day, from now on, you'll be called Peter, Simon the fisherman. So it just cracks me up that, all these things are layering together, and I'm seeing butterflies everywhere I go. And I get to live into my zeal. I get to live into my transcendent desire to be who I am called here to be in this world. See, we all have this transcendent desire to access and use that unlimited wellspring of life, intelligence, and substance that is available within our consciousness. Right? Our consciousness. It's not within our bodies, it's within our consciousness, and it is unlimited, and it is always available to us, because when we are clear about who we are called here to be, we access this, and it gives direction to everything that we can do here in this playground, right? We're here to have fun. We're here to experience joy, and we get to do that by being clear about who we want to be in this world, and that gives direction to what we do in this world. And so my question is, who are you called here to be? Who are you called here to be? And it's clear from where I'm standing who we're called here to be. We're called to be love. We're called to be love. We are called to express love. And I love how Reverend Catherine captured that in that prayer she just gave. We get to hold compassion for ourselves, and we hold compassion for each other. It's about compassion, right? We can't imagine this world unless we get clear on who we're called to be. To be compassion, to be love, to do compassion, right? Because compassion requires action. Now, I don't know if y'all can tell since the last time you've seen me, but I went and had a haircut. I'm not sure that it's not a little too short, but it's hair. It grows back. It'll grow back. But while I was getting my hair cut, someone in the salon brought up all this controversy that's going around right now around Dave Chappelle. And I don't know if y'all are paying attention to this. I have not seen the most recent episode of his Netflix special, but it's brought up a lot of controversy. And if you don't know that, I want you to know that. And it's causing controversy because he has offended a number of people in the trans community. And so people were posing to me this question of, is this offensive? Well, you know what? I'm not trans, and I don't get to decide what's offensive to other people. In holding forth my zeal, who am I going to show up to be in this world? I have a responsibility to hold compassion for everyone else. We all have this responsibility to show up with compassion for other people. And as a cisgendered white man, I don't get to decide what's offensive for other people. There's an indigenous Australian, Lilla Watson, who made this comment. And I love this. If you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. If you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. Right? And see, this is so aligned with how I understand and experience my zeal. It's amazing. And see, we are individualized expressions of divine mind, right? And the truth is our collective evolution in spiral dynamics that I know you know about, our collective evolution, our collective awakening requires that we work together. Through our zeal, not to become a zealot and decide what other people should be feeling, what other people should be doing, but our work together to love one another. To love one another. Are you willing to love one another? Without exception, because that's what our way shower came and said, right? Jesus said that, love one another as I have loved you. He never said, understand one another as I understand you. Because how do we really understand what every other person is going through? We can't, because they have their own different life, and life is consciousness. They have their own consciousness that they are living out their zeal. They're living out who they are called to be in the world, just like I am, just like you are, just like you are. We are all being called to love one another and to work together. Because we each individually might have an awareness, an experience, this transcendent moment of enlightenment where we know our oneness, but we don't get to live in our oneness until we all know our oneness. And so we get to hold space for one another. And when a couple weeks ago, I introduced this idea that Winifred Wilkinson Hausman brought up with this design dissatisfaction, right? Divine dissatisfaction, where we are alerted to the truth that the expression of life, the expression of God, good love that we are experiencing is is not the fullness of its reality. Right? Divine dissatisfaction that things are not the fullness of God, good love right here, right now. And so we get to move in that direction by shifting our awareness, shifting our thoughts, our beliefs. And that divine dissatisfaction isn't just for us. It's for all expressions of divine life, all expressions of the Christ. Right? And so while sorry, my throat is so dry today. That crisp Colorado air has no moisture in it. So one of the workshops that I got to support while I was out there in Colorado with Teresa was on diversity, equity, and inclusion. It was a panel discussion. And this idea got introduced to me, and it fits. Right? We have this divine dissatisfaction, and we get to see what is happening in the world, and we get to choose to be an ally. We get to choose to be an ally. And I think a lot of us do that. But see, allyship is just the beginning. Allyship is just the very first step as we become aware that the fullness of God, good love that is available to all of us is being withheld someplace in this world. And so we start to become aware of that, and we can direct our attention to that. And then we get to become an advocate. We get to become an advocate. And the example this person used was when we talk about how able-bodied we are, right? Do you know someone in your life that maybe isn't as able-bodied as they once were? So, for people that have never supported someone that's using a wheelchair, when you finally become aware of someone using a wheelchair and you become an ally because you're willing to push the wheelchair, right? You're becoming aware. But when you are an advocate, you go ahead of the wheelchair and you clear the path. Right? So we get to be an advocate, and we clear the path when God, good love, is not showing up in its fullness because of some awareness, some thought, some belief that exists here in our playground that we get to challenge and we get to shift. And then we get to be an accomplice, right? An accomplice, because when we're an accomplice, we are responding to this new awareness, and we are doing our work, doing our part to change what is happening here in the world. We are doing our work to change the systems that disenfranchise and marginalize other people. Right? So when we are an accomplice to people who are not as able-bodied as they once were, we say, you can't put those stairs there unless you're willing to put in a wheelchair ramp or you're willing to put in an elevator. Right? We become an accomplice, and we present that this must be, right? We've not come to save anyone. We've come to partner with them because their experience, their full experience of God, good love is tied to my experience, tied to your experience, because in consciousness, there is only God, good love. And that's who we are. We are this individualized expression of that. So, zeal. We have this zeal. It is our transcendent desire to become that which is the highest expression of me, desires to be in the world. And the highest expression I can be is tied to the highest expression of you. Zeal is your transcendent desire to be who you are called to be. Who is the Christ of your being calling you to be in this space? Our zeal is tied together. Our zeal is tied to everyone that is driving down the street on Fort Macon right now, Fort Macon Road. Our zeal is tied to everyone that is watching from home on Facebook or watching from home on Zoom. We are to God, tied together. Your soul's journey is tied to the journey to experience oneness that every other expression of Christ is having. And so I think that our zeal, in our zeal to be who we are called to be, invites us to hold sacred space for everyone else who is learning that they are the Christ expressing. Right? From a unity perspective, we get to hear language in the world that would deny the wholeness, the worthiness, the truth of who every person is. And we get to stand here as an accomplice and say, that's not true. You are a child of the beloved. You are worthy of life, love, happiness, joy. That's what I know to be true about you. Because that's the truth that we know. We know that there is only God, good love expressing in the world, and that divine expression exists in us. Yes? It expresses as us. Now, would it be safe to say that in your personal home, you want everyone to be safe? It's a question, yes? You want everyone in your home to be safe? Do you want them to have all of their needs met in your home? Expand this idea of what your home is, because our home is this entire planet. This is our home, this playground of life. See, we get to have this experience of allyship and advocacy and being an accomplice because everyone is living in our house. Everyone is in our home. Everyone shares divine consciousness. We are all one in divine mind. And so when someone says to me, do you think these trans people should be upset by this? I don't get to say what their experience should be, but what I can tell you is when somebody talks ill about trans people, do you know that there are 41 trans people that have been murdered this year? This year, 41. I haven't done the math, but I think that's more than one a week. And that is unacceptable in a world that is supposed to be love expressing. And so what I know is when we make it okay to talk bad, to disenfranchise, to marginalize anyone, we are saying that they are not worthy. And so we, as studiers of truth, get to say no. No, I know that you are worthy of love. You are worthy of love. And this is important to me. I have an associate back in Greensboro who just last week, while I was in Colorado, had her second surgery as she transitions to be the woman that she has always been, so that her physical presence matches who she is. And I want her to know love. I want her to know God. I want her to know her goodness. Because that is who she is, regardless of this physical form that any one of us has. When we are willing to be an accomplice, we are willing to put ourselves on the line. Right? We get to prioritize someone else's transcendent desire over our own comfort. Right? We get to prioritize someone else's desire over our own understanding. I don't have to understand. I am called to love. I am called to love, to hold with a gentle compassion both myself and everyone else. Everyone else, including people that will say stupid, unloving, divisive things. I still get to love them. See, I told you that my father loved the song Imagine. And so my father, he got to embody this idea for me of becoming an accomplice. Because it turned out his work in the world, he became the manager of supplier diversity for two major corporations in this world that impact how we live every day. He worked for a major trucking company, and he had to make sure that how that trucking company spent their money was in alignment with the values of that company. And so he made sure that they spent money with minorities and women-owned businesses and veteran-owned businesses. And does it impact your life? Yeah, because you get food delivered to the grocery store in the trucks that my father used to design before he became the manager of supplier diversity. We get to make a difference in the world. We get to be who we are called here to be, and let who you are called to be decide what you're going to do. What are you going to do in this world to make your zeal show up? To make a difference for the marginalized, for the disenfranchised, to call everyone up to be an embodiment of love, to know and to claim their good. Zeal is our transcendent desire to experience the life we are called to live. And our liberation is bound up together. Your freedom is bound up in the freedom of every other divine expression here. Every other divine expression of Christ's mind. So I want you this week, I want to invite you to think about, what does being an accomplice look like in my life? How do you get to live in your zeal and hold compassion and create a safe space for other people here in your home? Here in your home. Because it's not just about the trans community. That's the example I used. But there are so many disenfranchised and so many marginalized people in our community. And how do we make a difference? How do we remind people that you are love and you are loved? That you are love and you are loved? Because that's why we're here. That's why we're here. I am love. Say that with me right now. I am love. And so it is. Dedry, will you move us into a quiet space now that I've ramped the energy up a little bit?
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, you can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, you can. Day to give some encouragement to someone who lost the way. Just try. Or would I be talking to a stone if I asked you to share a problem that's not your own? We world a better place. Yes, you can reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, you can.
Now, if you're comfortable, I invite you to relax into your seat. And as it's comfortable, take a deep breath and maybe close your eyes if it's comfortable. And unclench your jaw. Relax your forehead. And simply become aware of your breath in this moment. And with each breath, imagine that this energy field that surrounds you is expanding. Allow your awareness to expand. And with each inhalation, feel that awareness expand. Feel that energy come together with others around you, others in your community, in your neighborhood. Knowing that this space of energy, this space in spirit, we are all together. And we shift our awareness to expansion until we totally understand that we are one. We are one here, now, in this space. And so from this space, this awareness of oneness, we simply hold a gentle heart filled with compassion. We hold compassion for the desires to come forth and be who each is called to be. We hold compassion for this desire to be who each is called to be now, in the silence. With each gentle breath, speak into the silence in your mind. I am love. I am love. I am love. I am love. Now with this transcendent compassion, as you are ready, bring your awareness back to your individual expression, to your heart center, that individualized expression of love, of divine mind. As you are ready, bring your awareness back and simply say, I am love. When you're ready, as Dedra sings to us.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place.